In a moment that's sending shockwaves across both royal watchers and media circles, celebrated British talk show host Graham Norton has indirectly but unmistakably taken a brutal swipe at Prince Harry's recent speech at the Envision 2025 summit. Though Harry wasn't a guest on the Graham Norton Show, his words still found their way into the spotlight, becoming the subject of sharp critique. Norton reportedly called the speech all trash and questioned the motives behind the Duke of Sussex's involvement in global summits. But behind the backlash, many insiders and analysts point to a deeper issue, one that revolves around the increasingly controversial role of Meghan Markle, whose influence over Harry's public appearances and political stances appears to be growing more divisive by the day. The Envision 2025 summit was billed as a forum for innovation and global cooperation, yet Prince Harry's speech, riddled with vague platitudes and lofty moral assertions, was panned for its lack of substance. Norton, a long-standing observer of British cultural trends and media personalities, reportedly roasted the speech during an off-camera event, calling it an empty display of performative activism. His comments echo a broader sentiment that Harry has strayed far from the grounded, relatable image he once held as a working royal. What's more telling, however, is the shadow of Meghan Markle that looms over Harry's public narrative. Since stepping back from royal duties in 2020, Meghan has been accused of aggressively shaping the couple's political identity, an identity that often seems at odds with the British royal tradition of neutrality. From podcast ventures to Netflix documentaries, Meghan has repeatedly inserted herself into controversial conversations while painting the royal institution as archaic and racist. Critics argue that her strategic self-positioning as a feminist and anti-establishment figure is less about activism and more about brand building. Analysts who reviewed Harry's Envision 2025 speech noted a curious alignment with Meghan's rhetoric. Buzzwords like sustainability, equity, and healing peppered his remarks. However, the content offered few concrete solutions or credible data. This kind of fluff-heavy speech, some believe, is Meghan's hallmark. According to royal biographer Angela Levin, Harry was never known for this kind of vague intellectualism until Meghan entered the picture. Norton's disdain, therefore, might not just be about the speech itself, but about the radical transformation of Harry's public identity under Meghan's influence. It's not the first time prominent voices in British media have criticized the Sussexes' approach to activism. Piers Morgan, Jeremy Clarkson, and even political commentators like Andrew Neil have previously slammed the couple's Hollywood-style virtue signaling. Graham Norton's entry into the debate may surprise some, given his usually diplomatic media persona. Yet his criticism aligns with a growing fatigue, especially in the UK, over what many see as Meghan and Harry's attempt to redefine the concept of royal responsibility on their own terms, often in ways that feel disingenuous. The backlash is also rooted in how the couple monetizes their public narrative. While Harry speaks of global unity and humanitarian efforts, the couple signs multi-million-dollar deals with streaming giants and publishers. Meghan's recent lifestyle brand, American Riviera Orchard, has been branded a vanity project by British tabloids, with critics accusing her of exploiting royal ties to launch luxury products. The contradiction between their advocacy and their commercial pursuits feeds into the perception that their activism is more performative than purposeful. It's also impossible to ignore the calculated media choreography behind their public appearances. Insiders have revealed that Meghan exercises significant control over which events Harry attends and how they are framed. Her presence may be less visible during such summits, but her fingerprints are all over the messaging. Some even speculate that Meghan crafts or heavily edits Harry's speeches. This isn't Harry's voice anymore, one royal aide allegedly said. It's Meghan's script with Harry's face on it. The Envision 2025 summit was meant to showcase innovative ideas and inspire global cooperation, but Harry's speech and its backlash has instead reignited old debates about authenticity, accountability, and the role of modern royals in public life. Graham Norton's scathing remarks may have been blunt, but they tapped into a wider cultural frustration. People are tired of empty words from public figures who live far removed from the everyday struggles they claim to champion. If Harry's speech was a misstep, it was also a mirror, one that reflects the troubling disconnect between message and reality. And at the heart of that disconnect, many argue, is Meghan Markle's relentless push to turn the Sussex name into a global brand, even at the cost of credibility. Graham Norton, intentionally or not, ripped open a wound that's been festering since Megxit, the royal couple's unrelenting pursuit of the spotlight, cloaked in the language of virtue but powered by ambition. In the end, perhaps the real takeaway isn't just the failure of a speech but the failure of a strategy, one that continues to invite skepticism, satire, and, most recently, the wrath of Britain's most beloved talk show host. That strategy, anchored in curated vulnerability, moral posturing, and media monetization, has begun to unravel under increasing scrutiny. While Harry once enjoyed widespread public sympathy, particularly after his candid revelations in Spare, audiences are now growing weary of the repetitive narratives and lack of tangible action. When every appearance feels like another attempt to reclaim relevance, even genuine causes risk being overshadowed by performative optics. Meghan Markle, meanwhile, has become a polarizing figure whose perceived manipulation of royal discontent continues to erode public goodwill. Her apparent orchestration of the couple's post-royal brand, complete with exclusive interviews, luxury ventures, and carefully choreographed appearances, seems more focused on cultivating celebrity than driving real change. With each new initiative, the question becomes louder: is this about service or about spotlight? Graham Norton's dismissive tone struck a nerve not just because of its boldness, but because it crystallized a sentiment many have hesitated to voice publicly. It wasn't simply a roast, it was a cultural reality check. For all their talk of truth and healing, Harry and Meghan's strategy may be doing more to alienate than to inspire. And in the unforgiving court of public opinion, even royals turned rebels aren't immune to the sting of satire and skepticism.